Sustainable fashion is a growing movement in the world of fashion that aims to address the negative environmental and social impacts of the industry. It promotes the use of eco-friendly materials, fair trade practices, and ethical production methods. In recent years, the fashion industry has come under scrutiny for its harmful practices. Fast fashion, for example, is a trend that promotes the production of cheap, disposable clothing. This results in high levels of waste, as well as exploitative labor conditions in developing countries where the majority of these garments are produced. Sustainable fashion seeks to break this cycle of overconsumption and exploitation by encouraging a more mindful and responsible approach to clothing. It advocates for the use of organic and recycled materials, which have a lower environmental impact compared to conventional textiles. These materials are often sourced ethically and produced in a way that minimizes harm to the environment. One key aspect of sustainable fashion is the emphasis on longevity and durability. Instead of constantly changing trends and encouraging consumers to buy new clothes every season, sustainable fashion promotes a more timeless and classic aesthetic. This encourages consumers to invest in high-quality, long-lasting clothing that can be worn for years, reducing the need for constant consumption and disposal. Another important aspect is the focus on fair trade and ethical practices. This means ensuring that workers involved in the production of clothing are paid fair wages, have safe working conditions, and are treated with respect. Sustainable fashion brands often prioritize transparency and provide information about their supply chain to ensure that the entire process is ethical. The impact of sustainable fashion extends beyond the environment and workers' rights. It also considers the social and cultural aspects of the fashion industry. Many sustainable fashion brands collaborate with artisans and traditional craftspeople, preserving traditional techniques and knowledge. This not only supports local communities but also adds unique and culturally significant elements to their designs. Sustainable fashion is not limited to a particular style or aesthetic. It encompasses a range of approaches, from minimalist designs to colorful and creative expressions. The common thread is the commitment to reducing the industry's negative impact on the world. Consumers play a crucial role in driving the demand for sustainable fashion. The choices we make as individuals can have a significant impact on the industry as a whole. By supporting sustainable fashion brands, we can encourage change and promote a more sustainable and ethical fashion industry. There are various ways to incorporate sustainable fashion into our lives. One option is to buy pre-loved or second-hand clothing, thus giving these garments a new lease of life and reducing the demand for new production. Another option is to opt for clothing made from sustainable materials such as organic cotton, hemp, or recycled fabrics. Additionally, there has been a rise in the popularity of eco-friendly and ethical fashion brands that prioritize sustainability in their production processes. These brands often have transparent policies and certifications that ensure their commitment to sustainability. As the demand for sustainable fashion grows, there is also a push for more transparency and accountability within the industry. Organizations and certifications have been established to assess and verify sustainable practices, making it easier for consumers to identify brands that align with their values. While there is still work to be done, the sustainable fashion movement is gaining momentum and pushing for change. With increasing awareness and consumer support, the fashion industry can transition to a more sustainable and ethical future. In conclusion, sustainable fashion is a movement that aims to promote responsible and ethical practices within the fashion industry. By using eco-friendly materials, supporting fair trade, and encouraging longevity, sustainable fashion seeks to minimize the negative impact of fashion on the environment, workers, and communities. Consumers can contribute by making mindful choices and supporting brands that prioritize sustainability. Together, we can drive change and create a more sustainable and ethical fashion industry. Sustainable fashion, also known as eco-fashion or ethical fashion, is a growing movement that aims to promote clothing that is produced in an environmentally friendly and socially responsible manner. It emphasizes the use of sustainable materials, recycling and upcycling, fair trade practices, and ethical labor standards. In recent years, the fashion industry has come under scrutiny for its negative impact on the environment and the exploitation of workers in developing countries. Fast fashion, the mass production of cheap and disposable clothing, has led to excessive waste, pollution, and human rights abuses. This has sparked a global movement towards sustainable fashion as consumers become more conscious of the social and environmental implications of their clothing choices. One of the key principles of sustainable fashion is the use of sustainable materials. This involves opting for materials that have a lower environmental impact, such as organic cotton, hemp, and recycled fibers. These materials require less water, energy, and chemicals to produce and are biodegradable, reducing their impact on the environment. Additionally, sustainable fashion promotes the use of natural dyes and non-toxic chemicals in the dyeing and printing processes, further minimizing the environmental footprint. Another important aspect of sustainable fashion is recycling and upcycling. Instead of discarding old or unwanted clothing, sustainable fashion encourages consumers to repair, repurpose, or donate their garments. This reduces the amount of clothing sent to landfills and promotes a more circular economy. In addition, designers are also using recycled materials, such as plastic bottles or discarded textiles, to create new clothing, thereby reducing the demand for virgin resources. Fair trade practices are also a crucial component of sustainable fashion. This means ensuring that workers involved in the production of clothing are paid fair wages, provided with safe working conditions, and have their rights upheld. Many sustainable fashion brands work directly with artisans and small-scale producers in developing countries, establishing long-term relationships and providing them with a fair and stable income. This not only empowers these communities economically but also encourages traditional craftsmanship and cultural preservation. Sustainable fashion also emphasizes the importance of reducing waste throughout the entire supply chain. This includes minimizing fabric waste during the production process, reducing packaging waste, and adopting innovative recycling and waste management strategies. Some brands even offer take-back or rental programs, allowing consumers to return their clothing at the end of its life cycle or borrow garments for a specific occasion, further reducing waste and extending the lifespan of the clothing. The impact of sustainable fashion goes beyond the environment and labor conditions. It also has the potential to shape consumer behavior and drive societal change. By choosing sustainable fashion, consumers can send a message to the industry, demanding transparency, accountability, and responsible practices. This shift towards more sustainable consumption habits can lead to a broader transformation in the fashion industry, prompting companies to re-evaluate their practices and adopt more ethical and sustainable approaches. Sustainable fashion is not just a passing trend, it is a necessary response to the negative consequences of fast fashion. It offers a more conscious and mindful approach to clothing, promoting a holistic understanding of the environmental, social, and economic impacts of the fashion industry. By choosing sustainable fashion, individuals can make a positive difference, supporting brands that prioritize sustainability and encouraging the industry as a whole to change for the better.